Andrew Walker, what's the latest there? Are you thinking still that you might offer him a contract, or do you think that not sure at this stage?
Yeah, there's nothing confirmed there. I think after the Duco Tens tournament in Brisbane, we had a bit of a chat about who performed well, and we thought Walks performed well, and it was a brief little thought about bringing him down, but it was no more than that. So yeah, I think he performed well for us up there, but realistically, we've got to fill a 9 position as a bit of a priority for us, and as much as Walker could probably play 9, he's not a specialist 9, so we haven't really thought more about it.
Bit of speculation about Drew Mitchell as well, putting his hand up. Is he a thought as well?
Well, Drew's contracted to Toulon until the end of their season, which is May, June, July, somewhere around there. So again, not an option for us because he won't be here in time. If we're going to fill a position like that, we'd need to fill it sooner rather than later. There's always options with those sorts of players, though, who are coming back from France to look at contracts for the following year, but for this year, there'll be nothing there.
So who are your options then?
At the moment, we're just looking internally with those positions. So Anthony Fanning, he came back last week, started training with us this week, and he adds another number to the squad at the moment. Andy Muirhead has been training with us. He's come down here from Brisbane to play with the Royals Club, and he's just taken an opportunity to train with us pre-Christmas, and he's impressed with his games and his training. So we'll keep him on for a little bit longer as well.
So ruling Andrew Walker out completely at this stage?
Yes, we are, yes.
What about Brent? He did fairly well at short notice to come in for you guys up there. Is he an option to look at for that 9 position?
He is, yeah. So he had a really small training base coming into the Duco Tens, and I think it was a little bit unfair of us to put him into such a high-intensity environment. He also plays with Royals here in Canberra, and they basically came. Well, he came back. He's working as well, but he came back into training about 2 weeks ago. So he had a small training, I guess, duration before he got into the tournament with Royals, and then came and trained with us for 1 day before we went up to Duco. So it was a little bit hard for him. I think he needs a little bit more training under his belt before we seriously look at him again as well.
Following the Global Tens, how are you feeling physically as well as a coach?
Yeah, I guess it was disappointing that we didn't go through, but we knew the format before we went into it. So we won 2 games out of the 3 in our pool matches. We played 3 on the first day, and then we prepped overnight. The boys did a bit of recovery overnight, and we had a bit of a sleep in, and then we rocked up to the ground a bit later than the other teams because we knew that we sort of had to watch the last pool matches to see whether we were actually in the finals and who we were going to play. And yeah, I guess we'd prepped as though we were going to play in the quarterfinals, but ended up missing out where other teams got through on 1 win and one win and 1 draw. So I guess that's something that we can talk about in the review of the tournament. We were very happy with the tournament overall. We certainly felt that the three games on day 1 was a bit of a challenge, but suited us quite well. And then it would have been nice to have played some games on day 2 as well. So that'll be the feedback that we give them. But overall, you know, we ended up sitting in the stand. We did a little bit of training, but sitting in the stand for the quarterfinals, semi-final, finals, and it was a good atmosphere. It was, despite what a few people said in terms of the atmosphere, most of the people were in the shade. They were pretty smart, and then towards the end of the tournament, they started to fill the stadium, and it was a really good atmosphere from where we were. The boys really enjoyed watching the quality of the games that were played and the atmosphere that was created by the people.
Still, the season's just around the corner. Is there any lessons you'll take from the Tens to that upcoming match?
Yeah, a lot of lessons. I think if you look at the New Zealand sides, again, they sort of excelled at that Tens format, which is similar to what they did in Super Rugby last year, the unstructured sort of play they were very good at last year, and I think we saw a lot of that in the Tens tournament. Their footwork around contact, their breakdown skills was definitely a step above some of the other teams. So, yeah, we've taken some lessons. I think the way that we started the tournament, we've spoken about being ready to start straight away, because that, if you look at the 3 games that we played, 6 halves, we only lost 1 half, and that was the very first half that we played. So had we have started a little bit better, we probably would have been in the finals. So we took that out of it. We also, took a few skills out of that tournament that are going to be relevant for 15s as well, which I think every team did. We also got some really good game time into guys that needed game time. So.
For
Yeah, 25th of Feb. That's the build-up for us now. So we've got a lighter week in terms of number of days that we're coming into training. We're still trying to get the intensity in training, just a Tuesday, Thursday, full days. We've got a Meet the Players Day on Saturday, and then a nice fresh start to the week on Monday for the boys, prepping for a bit of travel over to Christchurch on Thursday and the game on Saturday.
Have any of you settled on in your mind on what you want for round one in terms of team, or are still some spots up for grabs?
There are. There's a couple of positions that have been heavily contested over the trial matches, and also up at JUCO. I think some guys really put their hand up at JUCO. For some of the, I think there's 3 positions really that I don't really want to name. 3 positions in the team that as coaches we're having quite a bit of dilemma over. So we told the players on Tuesday morning that we'll be looking at the training effort both on Tuesday and today, and a little bit on Saturday morning, with a view to picking our team internally like we always do on Tuesday next week, and then announcing it on Thursday next week. So there's still 3 positions that we're unsure of at this stage.
Dos, how are you feeling about another season back in Australia? Are you ready to go this year? Had the shoulder operation.
Yeah, I think leading into the season, I'm in much better physical space than I was last year. Obviously, spending a year down here, getting to know the Brumbies, feeling more comfortable. The weekend up in Brizzy was great, playing 3 games back to back. They were high intensity, a bit shorter, but getting the body through that, getting the shoulder through a few contacts, feeling really comfortable leading into round one.
So, like you came in as a fresh face last year, but you're actually probably an experienced guy in the squad this year with so many young guys. Is that how you feel?
Yeah, I think just with the guys that we've lost, and having been around a Super Rugby environment for a number of years, I think it's just that natural progression with the age as well. And we do have quite a young squad, so I've taken a little bit of responsibility on my shoulders to help those guys settle into Canberra nicely and settle into how we want to play as a Brumbies unit. So that I've really embraced that added responsibility. It's been good.
What do you want to do to your game to take to the next level this year?
I think for me personally will just be having a bit more confidence to take the line on myself, maybe being a bit more selfish this year, and just being a bit more unpredictable, well, perceived as a bit more unpredictable, but knowing exactly what I'm doing.
With the shoulder, did you carry that through games last year?
Yes, I carried that through a bit of the season. I don't think it was that much of a distraction. It wasn't that bad. We didn't get it scanned until the end of the season, and then found out it needed a little bit of work done. But the rehab and the physio staff here have done a really good job, so I'm pretty confident.
Confident you'll be starting on that for the 20th Christchurch?
You never want to
answer. Very important answer.
You never want to assume anything, but we've had a chat as a backline, and we're all going out there. No one's taking anything for granted, whether you've been there, whether you're a new face. So we're pushing each other every week, to hopefully get that jersey. And the competition within the squad's been really good. The standards have been set pretty high, so I'm pretty confident in the team moving into round one.
Did you take any personal lessons from Brisbane?
I think that was personally that was one of my goals, was just to tick a few boxes there. Obviously with the trial up in Mudgee, things didn't really go our way. We didn't really get to fall into our attacking structure like we wanted to, like whether due to humidity or just people's personal preparation. So going into Brizzy, had a few personal goals. Got into contact a few times, made a couple of tackles, hit a few breakdowns. Got a few things out of that.
Obviously tough running out without Tomas when the first game does come around. Are you confident whoever does step into that role can handle it?
Yeah, I think so. We've got Joey Powell in there who had a bit of experience with the Wallabies mid-year last year. I think he took a lot of confidence out of that. Losing someone like Cube's huge, obviously with his international experience, and then having inexperienced playmakers around. Would have been nice to have him there, but we've got the whole squad's got full confidence in Joey and young Ryan Lonergan, and as Bernie said, they're still looking to fill a void there. So whoever it is, I'm sure the team will back him.
Dos, what about, I know Bernie's all but ruled out Walks, but what did he add to the group when you had him out there?
Mate, he was tremendous. The energy that he brought onto the field when he came on, and just his chat, his communication, and you can just see the guys. When he was on, it was like, oh, Walks is on. He just, I guess that excitement level rose. I think that was a key lesson everyone can take into that. So it's not being externally motivated. I think something that I took on personally was like, all right, if he can do this as a 43-year-old, as a senior member of this team, I should be the one who's, providing that motivation, that energy for the guys. So that was a big lesson I took out of having Walks out there.
Important answer now. Then, so is that disappointing to hear that I was calling now?
It'd be lovely to have Walks around, whether he's playing or just around the group mentoring. But that decision's up to Bernie.
We can keep it open. I can just say I'm in negotiations with Walks, if that's all right.
Keep the dream alive.
So Steve, what are you doing from here? What's the next step?
Internally for the team, you mean? Well, we are trying to find a halfback. So, I think next week there'll be some sort of announcement around that, hopefully. We're getting a little bit close with finding a nice fit for our group in terms of that halfback. I think we'll internally cover the position with the winger, like I said. There's enough competition in the outside backs at the moment for us to make a decision there. And then it's going to be a bit of a freshen up this week. So working pretty hard today, worked pretty hard on Tuesday, and sort of freshen up over the weekend, come back in on Monday afternoon and really try and hit the ground running with our first proper in-season prep this year. So it's going to be exciting.
And Aidan, yourself, your own personal preparation in the coming weeks, what are you looking at?
For me, I guess, it's exciting. Round one coming around. It feels like it's come around fairly quickly. So as Bernie said, we'll get through this afternoon, pretty heavy session, meet the players, do a bit of a training run on Saturday, and then, it's just exactly how we prepare for the game come Monday.
Bernie, just on that 9 role, are you looking for someone that can provide the sort of leadership and experience that Belly provides?
Potentially, yeah.
So sort of an older hand, I guess.
Yeah, that would be ideal. I think for the group, like Aidan said, we've got a fairly young group, and Tomas certainly added a bit of experience there. So the goal is to try and find someone who has a bit of experience, yeah.